Clear.
And good morning and welcome to the first official video of my aviation journey. It's an overcast day at Waukegan National Airport, but it's overall pretty nice, and I'm honestly super excited to get up and bring you guys along on my aviation journey. This is the video that will hopefully start it all, and I'm excited to bring you guys along. So today we're doing some slow flight and power off stalls. So basically we're going to be seeing how the airplane flies basically just flying very slow, and even stalling the airplane to see what that would be like when we're landing. So I'm excited and welcome on board. So now at this point, I'm just getting the engine all started. So I've been practicing to try to get my flow down, because it's the Diamond is very particular in how it starts. So you have to go mixture in the full rich position, then the fuel pump, fuel prime, and then crack the throttle for 4 to 6 seconds on a cold engine start, and then pull it back, keep it cracked a little bit, and engage the starter, and make sure not to hold it for too long. But yeah, so I've been working on memorizing and getting that down, but this engine start went pretty well, and unfortunately I do not have the in-flight audio figured out yet. Hopefully pretty soon, but yeah, let's get this baby started and taxiing. Alright, so now that we're moving, I should probably introduce myself a little more. So I'm Bo, and I've wanted to fly ever since I was a kid. Some of you, all 11 of you, I don't know, but you may know me. I'm the guy behind the Midwest Av Geek YouTube channel, but I kind of stopped doing that just because I wanted to actually do some flying and really start taking aviation seriously. So I'm super excited. I'm so happy all 11 of you guys are joining me for the journey, and let's go get this PPL. So now, as you may have guessed, it is time to do the run-up, and we're doing this so we can check all the engine instruments, make sure the engine is running smoothly, because I'd rather find a problem on the ground than in the air. I think most people would agree with that. But yeah, so we're just going to check all the magnetos, make sure there's not too big of a drop and everything is in working order. Check how leaning affects the exhaust gas temperatures, and yeah, so basically checking all of the engine instruments throughout the run-up. Alright, so now testing the magnetos. Everything looks good. There is not more than 150 RPM drop when switching to one particular magneto, and there's less than a 50 RPM difference between the two. So that all looks good. Now it is time to test the mixture control. So I'm going to lean the mixture and check the exhaust gas temperature, so the EGT gauge, and see if that begins to rise, and if it does, that's a good sign, because there's more air in the mixture, which will increase the temperature. And after that, we also check to see if the needle that indicates how much charge is being put on the aircraft is stuck, and we test that by flipping the flap lever, because that is an increased electrical load on the aircraft. So if the needle moves, then like it did here, then it is a good sign that the needle is not stuck. So now that the run-up is complete, I'm going to finish the last few checklist items for the run-up, and then I'll grab the ATIS and it'll be time to taxi. So it's probably for the better that I don't have the cockpit audio for my botched taxi call to Waukegan ground, but it's okay anyway. So I'll check back in with you guys holding shore of the runway. Welcome. I hope I didn't keep you waiting for too long, but anyways, I'm holding short of runway 5, finishing up the last few things before I take off, and so first I'm running through the emergency brief in case if the one thing that everyone fears, an engine failure in a single engine plane, happens, but not to worry, because on the runway or just above, I'll abort the takeoff and stop on the runway. 500 and below, I'll just continue straight. 1,000 or 500 to 1,000, I'll circle back runway 14, and then 1,000 and above, circle back runway 5. So we have it all dialed in, the plan, in case if our engine fails, which would not be good, but things happen. And yeah, just finishing up the last few checklist items. Rotate at 44 knots. I know, pretty slow. It's kind of crazy. And climb out initially at 68 until 500 when we take the flaps up, and climb out at 73, and then continue from there. So let's get departed. So finally, the moment we've been waiting for. Time to take off. So we are cleared for departure. Landing light is going to come on because we're entering an active runway, and I also verify to make sure final is clear, and we also like to verify that we're actually on the correct runway with our heading indicator, because that would not be good if we were on runway 14 and we thought we were on runway 5. So but yep, we're ready to go, so I'm going to go ahead and go full power. And I forgot it this time, but I need to put in that crosswind correction next time and make the engine instruments in the green call out. But anyways, so we rotate at 44 and we're now climbing out. So coming up on 500 feet, I go ahead and take out the takeoff flaps. Well, I know most general aviation aircraft, you do not even take off with flaps, but the Diamond's a bit different. The procedure has you take off with flaps. So now we're in the cruise climb portion, and where we're climbing at 73 knots, and now that we're at 700 above ground level, we start making that northwest turn towards a practice area where we're going to go practice slow flight and stalls. So all of that looks good, and once we get to 1,000 we can start working on that climb checklist. But for now I'm going to speed up the climb because it's going to take a few minutes to get out to the practice area, and then we can finally get into some slow flight installs. So I'll see you guys then. Alright, welcome back, guys. It is now my turn to do some slow flight. My instructor just did a demonstration for me, so now I'm just doing my pre-maneuver checklist where I do two 90-degree clearing turns to verify that I'm clear of any aircraft, airspace, or clouds. And also with that pre-maneuver checklist, I need to enrich some mixture, turn on the fuel pump, because since we're going to need the electrical fuel pump, since the engine RPMs are going to be low for a little while during this maneuver, and turn on my landing light just to be more visible to other aircraft. So that's the pre-maneuver checklist, and then I'll set up for slow flight. Alright, so now that the pre-maneuver checklist is complete, I am pulling the power back to 1500 RPM, so that speed will start to bleed off because I'll just hold the nose up to maintain altitude. So as that speed bleeds off, there will be a decrease in lift, and eventually the stall warning horn will go off. And at that point, I'll push the power back up to 2200 RPM just to stay in that slow flight, basically, because we're on the back side of the power curve. I'll put up a diagram, but so we need more power to keep flying slow, which is kind of counterintuitive, but that's just how it works. So yeah. Alright, so the slow flight went pretty well, so now it is time to do some power off stalls. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set the plane up in a landing configuration. So you can see here I am walking the flaps in as I'm bringing the speed down. And yeah, so set the plane up in the landing configuration, and then I'm going to start a 500 foot per minute descent. So kind of just simulating like we were on final approach during landing. And then once I'm all set, I'm gonna go power idle, like what would be like in the flare on landing, and then just hold the nose until we hear that stall warning horn. So there's the stall warning horn, and now gonna let the nose fall. And now that the nose has fallen, I'm going to go back to full power and recover the airplane. So establish a positive climb and start bringing those flaps up. So that is basically it for a power off stall. Pretty simple. That one I need to work on holding the nose between that 8 to 10 degrees up. I kind of let it fall back down, so I stayed in a semi-stalled state. That's why it was so prolonged, but other than that, the power off stall went pretty well. And now let's do a couple more. Alright, so time for power off stall number 2, and I'm bringing that power back. Time to set this plane up for landing, even though we're not landing, but that's beside the point. So the landing flaps are coming in, and let's maintain that 500 foot per minute descent. And time to lock in. Alright, so now power idle, bring the nose up, holding it. Nice, there we go. So the nose is falling, and now back to full power, establish a climb, and let's clean up the aircraft. So that one went pretty well. Held the nose much better than the last one at that 8 to 10, and how about we do one more? Alright, so time for the third and final power off stall. So plane's in a landing configuration, and I'm just pitching the nose down to get that 500 foot per minute descent, and all is looking pretty good, and just holding it off in that descent a little more. And now I'm gonna pull that power back and pitch up and hold the nose right up at the horizon. Hold it, and then the nose drops, and then full power and recover the airplane. That one went pretty well. Not much to speak of it. Held the nose better than the first two, and I think that'll be it for power off stalls. Let's head back to the airport. And I know I only showed 3 here, but we did a lot more than 3. Why does my phone keep going off? But yeah, so let's head back. Alright, so today we did slow flight and power off stalls in the Diamond, and overall I think it went pretty well. I do need to work on I didn't really talk about this during the video much, but staying coordinated, especially when very slow, because that's when the left turning tendencies are most prominent. I wouldn't say I struggled with it, but I kind of did. So yeah, I guess I did struggle with it a little bit, but that's okay. And also holding that nose during the power off stalls at 8 to 10 degrees. I sometimes would let it drop to like 5 and then it'd prolong the stall. It's not a huge issue, but just something that can be honed and tweaked a bit. But yeah, the most important part, the recovery, I would say went pretty well. Just pitching the nose down, full power, establish a positive rate of climb. That went well. I did notice that at those slow airspeeds, the controls are very mushy. I mean, it's almost like I would imagine driving a car without power steering. You needed a lot more input to make the same turn or whatever at a faster airspeed. I don't even know what I'm saying, but yeah. So if you have any tips or tricks or questions, please put them in the comments. That'd be greatly helpful to me. I'm so glad that I can bring you guys on this aviation journey. These videos seriously help me. It's not just to entertain you guys. I hope it was entertaining, but it also helps me just kind of think about and reflect on my flight lessons. So I hope this can help make me a better pilot, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I unfortunately don't have the landing, but it probably looks something like this, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the next one. Peace.